So it's my pleasure to welcome all of you for this session here. The session is on legal structure and ethical steps in establishing startups. So if I could remember our days, college days, the mentality of all students was only to get the job. So now the scenario has been changed. So a lot of ample number of opportunities are there to start your own venture. So with regards to that, Dr. Anil Shirahatti sir is going to give talk about that. So how to start your own startup and ventures and what are the steps need to be taken in that. So I welcome Dr. Anil Shirahatti sir for this occasion for presenting wonderful the workshop before you. Welcome you sir. So I also welcome Dr. Kiran as well as Professor Praveen Bansode for this session. As well I welcome all of you for attending with great patience here. So I welcome once again. So now I request Dr. Anil Shirahatti sir to take over the dais for his presentation. Over to you sir.
Good morning everyone. So it will be roughly maybe 1 hour or so. Within that only we will try to finish. Okay. So as sir said, our motto is not to get the job, to generate the job. Okay. Our main motto, whatever, with the way we are growing from population point of view. Okay. But that is also our strength as well. Fine. So we want to be an entrepreneur and we are trying to promote that brand. Fine. So the topic, so as we are recording this session completely, it will be live on the YouTube later. Okay. So what we will be doing, I will prefer to sit and do it. Okay. So the topic is legal structure and ethical steps in established startups. So this is a brief intro of mine. So I completed my BE in Mechanical, ME in Engineering Design, and PhD in Mechanical Engineering from University of Bristol. So I have almost more than 18 years of experience in materials design, product development, software development, 3D printer, and nuclear engineering. Okay. Currently, this is what my position is. So we are professor and consultant, and also the college dean and R&D. Additionally, other than this, I have few startup and few companies I am working currently. So there are two companies which are manufacturing based, that is Jain Seals and Jain Engineers. Okay, so they are mainly in manufacturing of and export of mechanical seals, pumps, distillery, bearing isolator, biotech components, even 3D printers, and lot of other special purpose machines. There is another company called Esi System, which is a Hong Kong based company. It have a R&D center in Belgaum and Bombay. Okay. They are mainly doing in automation and consultancy in 3D printers. Okay. And the next is eBharat Technologies. It is Pune based company, and they are mainly dealing with the consultancy towards the NCC, CAE side. Right? And also parallelly they are working with the CAD development. Okay. So that is a brief introduction. So all of you get this word. Do you want to become an entrepreneur and why? Okay, always. Why I have to take so much tension? So before going to that one, let's make it as you all are youngsters. So we will put one question. There are, let's say, 3 youngsters, okay, and want to become actors. Why they want to become actors? Yes? Passion? Name? Fame? Money? Okay. So one wants name or fame, and as some states, I want money, I want to travel free also. Correct? And some wants to play a different part of the roles. Okay, I cannot become a doctor, I became an engineer. So let's play a role of a doctor. Correct? Fine. But if I see from the outsider point of view, like a person seeing the movie, for him, however there are looks similar, there is a different motivation is there. Similarly, if I want to become an entrepreneur now, what are the reasons? What you feel you want to become an entrepreneur? Yes? to have our own business. Next, passion, money. So I'll just summarize some. To make a difference. Next, to have some work to do, and I'm not getting a job also, or a job I like, there may be this results also. Or do what is fashionable. I want to join a startup, so many startups are coming, that's why. But because not to take up a job, there may be a reason, or to follow what crowd is doing. Let's do this, all are doing. So these are some of the reasons what we feel entrepreneur. But the main motto of becoming an entrepreneur you will come to know once you end this session, maybe after half an hour, 45 minutes. Now before going to that, one should should understand what are the different types of startups or different types of industries. Okay. So just give you a brief idea. There are two types of industry. One is private, another is a public sector. Okay. So private, maybe you can consider Reliance, okay, public maybe ONGC, okay, maybe BSNL, all these are public sectors. Okay, so only difference between a private and public is, in public sector there is a government share is there, in simple terms. Okay. Now again in private, there may be a profit making companies, okay. So there are two types, one is called sole trader, another is called partnership, another is called private limited, another is called public limited. So what do you mean by sole trader means I alone, or it is also called as sole proprietorship business. In sole proprietorship business, what happens is I am the whole and sole owner, only one person. Okay. Then partnership. So partnership may be I and sir may be a partner, I may be 51% holder, he may be 49% holder. Like this, we have formed a company. Okay. Or maybe two or more than two people can form a partnership. Okay. Second is called private limited. So in both this first type of company, okay, sole proprietorship or partnership, there is a fixed thing. Okay, sole proprietorship is a regular, whatever job you are doing, the same laws applies there, right? But in partnership firms, whatever the profit happens, I take 51% share, he takes 49%, whatever share we have decided. In private limited, what happens, there are directors are involved. Okay, the company itself is a different entity, and we are working for that company. And the public limited is like they are listed on a stock exchange in simple terms. Okay, so public money is also involved. There are also some non-profit organizations, for example, charities, trade unions, NGOs, social organizations, on which we are not putting more efforts. Again, in public, there are public services, local authority, public corporation, all these are also involved. So this is slightly, we'll just go brief. What are the differences between? So if you see the legal part, okay, just we will concentrate on private LLP and sole proprietorship. So you can see, in case of a private limited, it is a separate entity itself. Tomorrow if anything happens, company is responsible, not the person working there. Okay, so, but in case of a sole proprietorship, everything a person will, whoever is the sole proprietor, he will be responsible for that. Right? Now what about the Company Act? So in case of a private, Company Act 2013 is applicable. In LLP, that is limited liability of partnership firm, in which partnership liability act 2008 is applicable. In case of a partnership firms, 1932 act is applicable. All other things, registration, all these are compulsory in all the things. These are few of the this one, but we will not go much in details. Now all of you have heard from last maybe 7 to 8 years this Startup India. Yeah, have you heard? Yeah. So what is the startup? To boost or to promote startup and entrepreneurship, that is the motto of Startup India. Okay. Second is to boost the banking and finance also. Next, to limit the state policy dependency on the new business, to eliminate license raj, and to promote backward class women entrepreneurships also. And core objective of all this startup policy is to generate maximum employment. So I cannot say I can have to build a cement factory here and then generate 3,000 employment. Instead of that, I can have some 20 small companies which can generate a 50-50 employment. That is more important. Now, why startup is so much important from Indian perspective point of view. So if you see in India, more than 800 million people are below 35 years of age. Okay, the main workforce. Secondly, as our population is increasing, the unemployment is also increasing. Okay, India is one of the strongest countries of the world in entrepreneurships. Okay. And if you see from last 7 years, we have generated around 43 lakhs per year of job. But if job requirement per year is around 1.25 crores, new jobs. It may be at low level, middle level, high level. The new job should be created. Okay. Now, in last 10 years, due to slowdown in Indian economic policies and reform policy, youth are less confident to start their own business or option for the job. We always see, okay, India में job open करना बहुत मुश्किल है. 45 forms we have to fill. All this we will say. Okay, but now it has reduced to a very simple. Maybe within 48 hours you can open your company. Now the main motto of this is to change your youth mentality from job seekers to the job creator. Now, how this main thing started is, this is what is launched in January 2016 by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, a Startup India policies. Okay, so the main motto of all this was bring all the stakeholders to the common platform. Okay. Secondly, value proposition for all stakeholders, connect global ecosystem. We are not even saying Indian ecosystem. We are thinking of global ecosystem. Stimulate others to join the ecosystem, handling support, access information, all this support government is providing. Now, how I can, next question comes to you is, I have shown you sole proprietorship, all this different types of company. How I can say my company, what I have opened maybe 1 year, 2 year, I can say it is a startup company. Okay. So the very simple definition of startup they gave. If it is a 7 years from date of incorporation, so anything, let's say 2019 you have opened a company, still it is called as comes under startup. And for biotech companies it is 10 years. Okay. Next, the company should be private limited, okay, LLP or partnership. No sole proprietorship is allowed. Next, should not have turnover of more than 25 crores in any financial years. And the last is, the main nature of innovation should be developing a new or improving existing product or services, whatever they are offering. Okay. Maybe suppose you are started designing a chip, design the chip, you can say, or I say manufacturing a 3D printer, I can say, both are. Okay. Now, if you see all this startup comes under one category, they are called as micro, small, medium enterprise sectors. So why this sector is important? Before startup itself, you can see India has approximately around 6.3 crores MSMEs companies. As on 26th Jan 2011, it is having around 6.3 crores registered MSMEs. Okay, and if you see the contribution of MSME, it is around 6.11 for manufacturing of GDP, 24.63 in service activities, and employs more than 110 million people. Okay, so if you see the small scale industry, they employ the maximum in India. Okay, and in which sector they are contributing? They are contributing roughly around 15% in public administrative, defense and other services, financial services and real estate around 22%, trade, hotels, communications, broadcasting all are almost 16%, manufacturing 14%, construction 7%, agriculture, fishing, all this they are contributing around 20%, mining around 1.63. So overall, if I say, if I again redivide them, in services around all these companies are 53% companies are in services, while agriculture around 20% and remaining 25% are in industry based. Right? Now, next question comes to is, I have formed a company, how I should take the benefit from the government. Okay. So for that purpose, you have to go to this website called as startupindia.gov.in. Okay. So at the right, if you can see here, startupindia.gov.in. Okay. Now, very simple. If you see, in the first page there is an online application form. You have to upload all these documents. What are the documents? Founder and team details, whoever the main people, okay, who management people. Entity details. Entity details is nothing but company details. Okay. Next is what is your business model is, what is your IP details. All these stuffs you have to upload. Next, it will take 24 to 48 hours to evaluate your application or cross-check your verification of your application, and then a startup recognition or is allotted to you. Okay. So if you go to the website, okay, so the website looks like something. So this is the website. Okay. So you can see states ranking, national awards, startup seed fund, online showcase, all the details about the startups they have given. Okay. So lot of programs also are conducted. Okay. And registration is very simple. If you go register over, all the details you can have to fill. All hackathons, all what are the activities going on? If you see continuously every May, all these activities are go on. Even what are the seed money available, Startup India seed funds, all the details will be given. Okay. So you can see different seed money or whatever the funding you need, all the details are given. Right? So more details you can go and visit this one. Right? Now all of you see why this startup becomes so important. So let's go to see the startup at India level. So if you see here, around more than 11,634 recognized startups are there in India. Okay, across 448 districts, 29 states, 6 union territories, and 56% of these startups are in Tier 1 city. 27% startups are in Tier 2, like city in Belgaum, Hubli, or all these things. And still, if you go to like Yaksamba, Chikodi, all that area, they are coming under Tier 3 cities. Okay, all taluka places. Okay, so they also contribute almost 17% of states. So these are a few of the startups registered. So if you see, Karnataka is the second, around 1,900. In Maharashtra, around 2,500 startups are registered, recognized startups. Okay. Now if I see from the sector wise, okay, so this is the sector wise. So IT services are the most startups are working. Roughly around 15% startups are working in IT services. Healthcare and are working around 9%. Education around 8%. Professional or commercial services around 8%. Agriculture around 4%. Then food beverages are there. Fashion textile is there. Retail is there. Green technology, construction and real estate around 2 to 3%. So what it says from this figure is maximum startups are in IT sector, healthcare, education and commercial services. Fine. Now, what about startups? If you see what these startups are helping for creation of jobs. So each startup roughly employs 12 jobs. Okay, so you can either that they are giving 12 direct jobs. Okay, it may be low level, mid level, high level. Okay, but you can imagine again that 12 jobs are creating another four jobs each. Okay, so around 48 jobs are created. Another main thing important in startup is the gender ratio. So if you see distribution of gender, whatever see in the startup is very good. So 55% are male, 45% are female. So if you see any big organization, this much good ratio you will not find anywhere. Fine. Now, one question comes is, okay sir, you have told very well the registration is so easy, but what about if suppose I decide that if anything goes wrong and I want to close the company, even I heard the closing company itself is a very headache. Okay, so that also government has made very simple. If you see 2014 onwards, if I have to faster exit, I should have minimum 4 years. There is a physical inspection, tax benefits are not there. But if you see when the startup, within 90 days you can close your startup. Okay. What are the different benefits? We will see one by one. Okay. Even because you cannot simply, okay, I just want tomorrow I decided to open it. Opening is easy, even closing you have to close it very clear. Right? Now what are the benefits? So first is, if you have registered your startup in this portal, there is a relaxation in public procurement norms. So what are the relaxation? Relaxation in turnover, experience, AMD condition for startup, all central public sector undertaking to follow procedures, and DIPP registration can directly register and sell on government e-market with no requirement for turnover or experience criteria. What actually it means? As per the government norm, roughly 20 to 25% of their procurement, we have to do it from SMEs, MSMEs or startups. So what it means is, suppose tomorrow there is a one power plant which has to buy some stuffs of roughly 100 crores, 25 crores of that should be purchased from the startup, small scale industries, all this. And if your company is registered under startup, you are eligible for not giving any EMD. What is EMD means is, suppose maybe 20,000 as a security deposit has to be kept there. That is not needed. Okay. Secondly, we can say you should have minimum for 50 crores of turnover. Not needed. All these exemptions will come if you are a registered startup. Okay. Next, very much important. See, whenever you are starting any company, it is very much important you should have a good idea, convert it into a product or convert it into a services. Right? Next is how you decide the name of the company. Okay. If there is some important product or anything, whether I should get it either patented or there should be a trademark. That all registration fees of filing a patent or filing a trademark will have 50% rebate. So if I see patent, if I have to file a patent, it will cost me around 80,000 rupees till 2 lakh rupees. Okay. So you know, many patents you say Apple has one button, for that they have applied a patent, you cannot copy that type of button or that type of curve, all these things. Okay. There may be a copyright act, suppose one picture cannot be used. So I will show you a simple example. This is the patent, correct? So you saw, this is the patent of the Apple. They said, okay, this should be the screen, no one can take like this button and all this stuff, correct? Next, what is this one? This is a trademark. So I cannot use this one in my business because it is a registered trademark. Similarly, PNG. I cannot use it because it is a registered trademark. I cannot keep a company like PNG Limited, nothing possible, because this is registered. Next, there are some more things. Trade secrets. Coca-Cola, what they mixes we don't know. All is a trade secret. Next, these are all other copyrights. Okay, so you can see whatever the page shown at the first page or these photos cannot be used without the written or permission from the copyright or whoever the owner of this copy. So all this is very much important. Why important? Suppose I have a trademark. Okay, so can I tomorrow make a toothpaste and sell in name of Colgate? I cannot sell, correct? Because Colgate is a registered trademark of that Unilever. Can I? So otherwise I can make very easy fix. Okay, so that's why the registered trademark is very much important. Okay, so tomorrow, even from customer point of view, he will remember on which name you are selling. You have heard Hindustan Unilever. They have more than 1,000 to 2,000 products. We don't know sometimes which product belongs to Hindustan Unilever. But from the name or trademark on which they are selling, we can understand things. Correct? Yes.
Some of the logos like Nike will be used by some other business. Okay.
That how? Okay. there is a different loss of this one. Okay, I can tell you a very simple story. Okay, many now what happens in case of a product one cycle. Okay, I will explain his questions. Okay, what he is asking, many people are misusing the trademark, and sometimes we will get maybe attracted. Okay, I cannot go and buy let's say Nike shoes, which is costing me around minimum 8,000 till go till lakhs. Okay, but I can go to maybe Chawat Gali or something like that. Okay, and get it for 200 rupees. Correct, with the Nike. So, but I can wear in the college and come down, and people will be happy to see. Correct? Yeah. But how we can punish it? Now see, there are two ways. Now, if I go and see after 10 years before, okay, what was happening is, it is very number of life cycle of the any product was very big. What it means is, before 10 years, if I am taking a simple mobile, what is happening? Okay, once I take a model of a mobile, maybe after 1 year Samsung or iPhone will launch the next product, correct? Or any other. And number of people or manufacturers are very less. If you see 10 to 12 years before, how many car models Maruti was launching? Maybe a extra version, next version was launched after 2 years in that category. Correct? But what is happening because of that? The copying becomes very easy. If the life cycle of the product is very high, the copying becomes more easy. So if we see from the Nike point of view or Adidas point of view, okay, they were launching each new product every 6 months. Okay. Now every 15 days they are launching one product or version. So till it comes to the market, the new product is launched. Now there are different laws are available, okay, on which there is a imprisonment is there, okay, that person can be held responsible plus cash whatever it is there. Right? Now next is facilitation and handling. Dedication facility. So if you are registered with the startup, the government will help you out within 48 hours of whatever the problems you are facing. Okay. So a simple example is 1,523 queries have been successfully resolved so far. Of 547 startup mentoring facility for taxation or financial advisors are available. Mentors are available. Next is very easier compliance. Many of you have heard there are a lot of problems with the labor inspector. There are so many labor laws, so many environment laws. But for startup, some of the laws which can be exempted, they are exempted. Okay. Then startups are not allowed to self-certify against the law. Now allowed this. What I can say? Okay, I am following all the laws. Okay, whatever the pollution I am not doing, I can self-certification is enough. I should not go to the authority. Maybe first 3 years, so that they will come and check it whether everything is correct as per the green norms or not. Okay, all these are exempted for startup. Next, very much important is the tax exemptions. So tax exemption on investment from the investor against the issue of share capital on profit and gains from income for first 3 years. So 3 years in general, whatever the net profit is coming, it is exempted from income tax. Okay, so generally what is the taxation? So about 2.5 till 5%, 5 lakhs you are paying how much? 5%. Above that one? 20%, then from 10 lakh it comes 33%. And if it is a company like private limited and other things, it will be either 25% or 30%, depends upon your term. Right? Now one of the more other important, you saw what are the benefits of starting a startups, what are the government benefits are there. Now next few of the things is why registration should be obtained, very much important. One thing is your company get registered, either company, LLP or firm. Okay, so tomorrow no one can open by the same name, that is their registration with the startup authority. Another two parameters very much important is ESI facility and PF facility. So what you mean by ESI facility is, okay, suppose tomorrow you have opened a company and around 10 or more than 10 people are working, you have to provide some medical benefit to the employees. Okay. So on that one, whatever their salary is there, gross salary of 1.75% they will contribute for the ESI fund, and as an employer I will contribute around 4.75% of his net salary. So what it means is, suppose you are giving him a salary of 10,000, so from his salary 175 rupees, that is 1.75% will be deducted and given to ESI. Another 475 I contribute from as an employer from my pocket and give to them. So how it is helpful? So tomorrow if the employee feels sick, okay, or he went on maternity, he or she went on maternity leave, so all that salary will be paid by ESI. Tomorrow any medical problem comes, the government, that is the ESI hospital, will take care of all this. Right? So that is nothing but medical insurance we are providing. Now what about PF? That is the Employee Provident Fund. That is applicable if your organization is more than 20. Okay. So what it is like a saving for your future. Okay, so you contribute around 12% of your basic plus DA. So suppose your basic plus DA is 10,000. So 12% of that, that is 1200 you will contribute to this PF fund, and 1200 will be paid by the employer. So at the end when you retire, whatever the amount is given to you with some pension benefit. Okay. Now another thing is very much important is GST. Okay, that is the tax what you pay to the government. So GST registration is very much important. Right? Now why that is important? There is a input tax, output tax. Okay, input tax benefit, output tax benefit. Input tax benefit is, suppose I buy this mouse. Okay, so I have purchased this mouse for 1,000 rupees. On that I pay, let's say, 18% tax. So 180 rupees I have paid to the government. So I have purchased from sir, I paid him 1,180. Okay, so what sir will do? He will keep 1,000 rupees with him. Okay, above 180 rupees tax he will pay to the government. Now after purchasing with him from 1,000 plus GST, I will sell it for, let's say, 2,000 rupees. Just for simplicity. Okay, so I am selling for 2,000. Now for 2,000, what is the GST? 18%. It is 360 rupees. Correct? Now what I will do? I will say to the government, okay, I have sold it for 2,360 rupees. I took from that person, and what I will say to the government, I have already paid 180 rupees on this one, correct? To the sir. So that one I will take as a benefit. Okay, that is called tax GST input benefit, and then on output benefit I will pay remaining 180. So government will get 360 till it reaches to the end consumers. Fine. Now there are also like suppose you have professional tax and other things, that registration also should be done. Next, very much important, if you see from around the globe, around 6,100 startups are registered in Canada. US have largest startups is more than 83,000. Then followed by India and China, it is around 10,000 plus, and UK is around 8,000. So what are some general benefits? So I have shown you one more website, that is called startupindiahub.org. So what they will provide? They will provide the information discovery, creating learning programs, what are the networking engagement programs, all tools and templates, application enabler, all the ecosystem for all the stakeholders. All the stakeholders means I am the company person who has started the company. Okay, there may be a person who wants to be an investor. I have a lot of money, so I cannot start the company. I know these 5 people companies are working very good. Okay, so what I do is I will invest 10% in his company, 20% in his company. Like this, I am an angel investor. Okay, so it will give the platform to that also. Next, what are this one of the course what you can undergo if you are interested? 4 weeks long course, that is Startup India Learning Program. Okay, so it is a free of cost, available both in English and Hindi. So it will give the main contents of this course are what is how you decide idea assessment, how you do the building a legal foundation, what is financial basics, business planning, how fund is raised, how do the valuation. All this will help you to make a proper business plan. Now we have saw 2016 we have launched our Startup India theme, okay, and we are happy to say that Karnataka was the first state which have its own startup policy. Okay, so why this objective of this state level startup policy is to highlight achievements made by state government. So I have to attract more startup so that I can get great revenue, I can create more jobs to my state. Foster competitive amongst the state governments also, okay, facilitate learning of best practices, then compendium of more than 112 good practices, recognize state governments and acknowledge exchange workshop at the leading incubators. Now, there are mainly 7 areas of intervention what the state government is working and 38 action plans. So these are the few which we can go in detail at the later stage. So one is the startup policies and implementation, incubation support. What do you say? Many colleges are recognized or private institutes are recognized as incubation center. So as a startup, they can get the facility at a very throwaway price. They can establish their startup maybe after 1 or 2 years when they grow, they can have their own space. Okay. Then seed funding supports, angel venture funding support, simplified regulations, easy public procurement, awareness and outcome. Now, not only that, the government is working only providing the space, they are also helping you for the networking. So, one of the networking like creating entrepreneurship awareness programs at different Startup India Yatra at both Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, conducting across local colleges and university, day-long mentorship workshop. All this government is investing. The main outcome is we want to get a 1 or 2 good startups. Now, government has not even stopped here. Now, next level is go global. Okay, so they are from this few of the startups, they recognize few startups and then they take to a higher level around the globe. All this expenditure for this will be paid by the government. Okay, with some concessions. So they have a startup. You can speak with the startups at Portugal. You can speak with the startup at Israel, Sweden, Singapore. So all this communication or networking, government is helping you. Now, one of the main things comes. What are the stages of the our product life? Startup life cycle and how I can get the funding. मेरे पास startup हो गया, idea है, everything is there, but how I should get the funding? So just briefly, I will let you know what are the startup fundings. First, let's see some stage. So one is called pre-startup stage, startup stage and growth stage. So at pre-startup stage, what you are doing? You are doing a discovery, identifying what may be the problem, what I can give the solutions. Okay. Then you are in startup, you are giving efficiently doing all the solution. At the growth, you are selling the product, okay, getting the revenue generated in simple terms. Now, in startup ecosystem, there are 4 people: startup supporting organization, there are fundraising organization, and also there are research institutes. So tomorrow I cannot go. Suppose I have discovered a good material, I cannot go and do the testing. So I come to a engineering college and do the tensile test and all this testing facility. Correct? So there we are, our research and knowledge issues are helping you out. Right? Now all this, what are the main challenges? What as a startup you will face? Very sadly we can say in the recent study by IBM says 90% of Indian startup fail in first 5 years. What was the reason? The most common reason for failure is lack of innovation. 7% of venture capitalists survived believe that the Indian startup lack of new technologies or unique business model. So that's why I said if someone is copying and if you are continuously in innovation and changing, you are bringing new product, he cannot copy at one stage. Okay. Next, planning. As the saying goes, if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Okay. So don't leave the details too late. Next, many places no proper execution is done. Next, lack of innovation, very much important. Again, in some cases, lack of funding is also. Funding at correct time is also important. Right? Lack of mentorship. Many times we say, okay, I don't want, I will do myself. So I may not have exposures. What happens at Tier 2 cities, I don't know what happens at Bombay level. So So if I get a mentor at Bombay level, it will be very easy for me for expansion. Then very poor business ethics or human resource. Okay. Now how to raise the fund? Very much important. पैसा कहाँ से उठाने? Okay. So how much fund should I raise? Very much important. Okay. When should I raise the fund? At what stage should I not? That is also important. Next, what are the relevant source of finance? How much part of my shares of my company I can do for the funding? Okay, very much important. Next, how should I reach to the investor, or what is the right structure and instrument? So very briefly I will discuss on that part. One is called, there are different ways of funding a startup. Bootstrapping, it is a self-funding. Okay, very briefly I will go. Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or venture by many small amount of money from a large number of people, typically over the internet. So this is one of the funding which is very famous. Okay, so I develop a product and I say I want to make it. So what I do is, okay, you made this product. Okay, what is the manufacturing cost? Okay, let's say 20,000. I will pay 20,000. I will take your first product. So first 20 products I will take. For me it is good. I am getting at throwaway price. The same product after manufacturing it will be sold for 60 or 70,000. So as a startup I am getting the fund to launch my products. Maybe very less profit, but my products goes to the next. Angel investor. Angel investors are individuals with a surplus cash and a keen interest in investing upcoming startups. So whatever you are saying, Shark Tank and all these things. Next, venture capitals. So venture capitals are nothing but they are professionally managed funds. For example, we say ICICI Bank, SBI Bank. Even ICICI Bank have their venture capital division where they invest directly in the companies. Okay. So that will be handled by very professional managers, fund managers. Right. Next, funds from business incubator or accelerators. Even getting the funds from the government and funds from the banks. All that are self-explanatory. So what are the funds available from the government point of view? So you can see almost more than 10,000 crores of surplus fund. So people have not claimed this fund is available till March 25. Okay. Now another just a brief what I want to suggest is how you should raise the fund. So you can see at the I am just giving the average age of the firm or any startup. So first 1 year we are mainly raising either with my family, friends or my own saving. Then goes to after 3 years maybe angel investor fund raisers or seed funds. 5 years I am going to institute level. Okay, VC, venture capitals and all these things. And then maybe public market or share market, stock market, other things we can do. Okay, so if you see after 5 or 8 years, if your growth is there, then only you can go in this stage. Otherwise, not possible. Right? So this is what the startup says. Now, you can see here, when the concept is there, this is the investment cycle. When the startup starts, okay, you can see as the growth goes, sales goes on, increases. Okay. And as the angel investor, if growth is very high, the angel investor will not come and invest in you. Okay. Already your company is established, no one will invest. Okay. Angel investor comes into place where it is a startup and or at the concept stage only your business is there. Because for them, they can get more equity share in your company. Correct? Now, how an angel investor or he or she will or a company will validate your company is worth 1 crore or whatever. So there are different methods. Okay. So I will just briefly give 1 or 2 methods. One is called how I should evaluate my startup. Okay. This is a startup. Okay. Now I don't know what is there inside the box. I can value that box for 1 lakh. I can value that box for 3 lakhs. Okay. So that is one method. One can say this magic box is worth 1 lakh. One can say after 5 years Okay, one can say it may be valued at 100 lakhs. This method is called very simple, but it is a very expensive method, very high risk method. Next is called Burkas Method, in which what happens is we will evaluate in simple terms that complete product in different categories. For example, what is the idea, what is prototype, what is the quality of the management or the people who are working as a management team, what is the technical people working, how they are strong. All that valuation we will do and then evaluate the company's total valuation. Okay. And there are few more methods like risk factor method, in which we will decide which part can be given more amount or more valuation. Depends upon that we can decide. Next is scorecard evaluation. Okay, what is the weightage should be given. Next is the book value. Book value is nothing. It will come at the later stage. How much sales you are having. Okay, you say every year I am having a sales of 10 lakhs, but my company is valued at $1 million. Not possible, correct? So you can say you have 1 lakh turnover, I can evaluate at 5 lakh, something like that. Then liquidation value, discount cash flow values, first Chicago method. All these are different venture capital methods. All these are different methods of evaluations. Okay. Now what you do, remember that evaluations are nothing but formalized guesstimates. Valuation never show the true value of your company. They just show two things: how bad the market is willing to invest in your little red box, and how bad you are willing to accept it. So sometimes in the Shark Tank they say give me 20% for 5 lakhs, okay, correct? And someone will say give me the same amount but I want 30%. So these are the two values. Whatever your red box is, how they will evaluate or how eagerly they are ready to invest on it. Okay. So the optimum amount raised is the maximum amount which in a given trade allows the last dollar raised to the more useful for the company. So valuation are good starting points when considering the fundraising. So you have startups are mainly changing the face of virtual reality of India. So some of the startups, Ola, okay. So it is started by Bhavesh. So it is valued around 5 billion, employs more than 250,000 cabs, auto rickshaws. Paytm, started by Vijay Shekhar. Okay, so it has raised more than 700 million and it is IPO. OEO by Ritish Agarwal. Zomato, Swiggy. So if you see the value, why I am showing all are started as startups. So you can see Flipkart. What is the funding they got? 3 billions for 18 rounds. After 18 rounds of negotiation, they got that much money. Market valuation is around 1,05,000 crores. Okay. If you say thing, if you saw OYO, around 20,000 crores. Groupers around 1,500 crores. That is what the valuation is. So this is what you say, okay, this happens at very higher level. What about Belgaum level? Correct? So there are few more Belgaum startups. So I think you have seen this synergy. So they are the enterprises which are making industrial IoTs. Okay, product for sensor-based condition monitoring, security real-time assessment of tracking application using a combination of proprietary mesh-connected hardware, cloud, and analytical apps. So simple things. I put a watch. In that I will put this chip. Okay, give this watch to my child. So wherever he goes, I will come to him. Simple. Okay, I am showing you a simple example. So this is started in 2013 with a small team of technopreneurs. It is having operation in India, US, and Japan. This is one of the company, Energy, established in 2007. Okay, that is Energy Microwave. Is the leading brand of industrial microwave heating. Mainly all rubber heatings. They are one of the India's number one. It is there in Udyam. Okay. Unboxed. Okay, this is the startup. The person who is sitting down, that is Pawan Sundur. He is from Belgaum. Okay. They are passed out from SJC Mysore and they started the optimization of search engine. So what it means is optimization of search engine is, suppose you are using Amazon, okay? Simple, you are using Amazon and you are searching one book. I have told you, buy machine design by G. Patil. Okay, or buy machine design, that's it. So what you do, you put my machine design. So it has to search, okay. 5 people have searched this from Belgaum region, because from IP address I can find from which region you are. So Belgaum region, okay, if I put machine design, the first book should machine design by H.G. Patil, because 5 people have already did the research and out of that 2 people have purchased them. Correct? Just by your IP address, I should optimize that. But the same thing when it's going, the person is searching from Bangalore, so it should come, maybe other data handbook was used, correct there. So that should come as first. So all this background optimization is done by this company. This company employs almost more than 25 to 30% people from IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi. Okay. And this is one more what we had. So we got a lot of fundings from mainly from Chinese companies and US and German companies. Okay, so mainly we are doing with product development, engineering design and software services. One more company, this was in the news, maybe last 3-4 days people. So this is Misha Labs, that is found in 2006, okay, by a GIT person. Okay. Now what they are doing is they are mainly working in the hardware side, okay, or VLSI side design. Okay, they have more than 11 patents, okay, across a different sector covering EDI, ESL, embedded system, automation domain. Other than this one, there are few more startups. I think few of them you can recognize. All about Belgaum, Madhuban, Fast, Credentials, all based in Belgaum. Few more startups which are also eBay, Zabi, Money Box. Now, after saying this, you can come to a question: what this actually startup are doing from last 5 years? So you will see, this is the report what the government has published from 2016 when the startup was launched until December 2020. So around 41,000 startups created around 4 lakh jobs, okay, and a turnover of around 4,500 crores. 53,000 received startups value more than, so you can see 53,000 order received startups with a value over 2,200 crores. That is the valuation of few of the startups. Okay. Now after coming seeing all this, the government has even launched this startup policy itself. Okay. Now one more question comes to your mind is, sir, on which area you feel the startup should be launched? So these are the few areas like e-commerce, health tech, fintech, ed tech, travel tech, logistics, consumer services, entrepreneurship tech and deep tech. Okay. So what is this? Fintech, that is the financial services, ed tech is education. So these are the main services where many startups we found in the first graph, whatever show, almost 40% of startups are working in this area. Now once you start any business, few of the terms are very much important. That is, what are the responsibilities and ethics while doing any business. There are different responsibility and ethics towards the government, towards the employees, towards the investor. So few of the ethics what we feel we should impart is regular compliance with the government norms, submitting your true and failed returns, okay, generating employment opportunity, participating in government programs. Some of the times we have to go to the government and promote so that few more entrepreneurship can be born. Next, towards the investor, return on investment, ऐसा नहीं पैसा लेके जाने का नहीं, correct? So I have to, whatever I said, okay, you are investing 10 lakhs, maybe after 5 years I can give you full 100% return. Developing the product, it should not happen, you take a 10 lakhs and go on. Next, utilization for money for business purpose only, not for the joy. Right? What is the social responsibility? Providing employment, carrying social work at large. Towards the employees, protecting interest of the employee. Developing the talent. towards the stakeholders, payment on time, whatever the money you are taking from other vendors, say 30 days credit, 60 days credit, within that time the payment should be made. Then towards the mentor and advisor, the main thing is growth of the company and having a fair trade practice. So what are the takeaways from this lecture is, to be a successful in sustained business practice often require mainly entrepreneurship and innovation. So if you are not innovative, just copy and paste, you may not long run in a business. Enterpriserships can be viewed as a recognized change, pursuing opportunity, taking a risk, responsibility, innovating, making better use of resources and creating a new value that is meaningful to the customer and doing it all again and again. So you cannot say, I have developed a product, let's go and sleep for 5 years. Again, improving that product, improving the services of the product is also important. The motivation of becoming an entrepreneurships are diverse, can be a potential financial reward or maybe a personal value and interest. Being an entrepreneur requires significant responsibility and comes with a significant challenge and potential rewards. Entrepreneurship is a mindset and attitude. It is a taking a particular approach to doing things. So you cannot say, okay, once I did the product, it is over. You have to go on. Improving the product is also very much important. So these are the 3 parameters which are more important: time, energy or the resources. Resources may be the whatever the parts you are having or your own knowledge and other things, and the money. All these 3 plays an important role in becoming a good entrepreneur. Okay. So I can say only one thing: future cannot be predicted, but it can be made if you utilize all this, your energy, resources, time and money properly. Fine? Thank you.
Any questions, Ratan? Any questions?
What do you feel? So you are going towards the entrepreneurship. Okay. So maybe in the future, more investment government will do, creating small jobs. Okay. Lot of jobs are created. Only thing is, what an entrepreneur is, he will be working 24 hours, 24/7. It is not like a job, simple job. Okay. I will go, okay, work for 8 to 4, or 4 o'clock I will go home, I switch off my mobile, my job is over, and the first of month I will get the salary. But that is not for entrepreneur. Okay. I am employing 20 people, so today I have work, tomorrow what they will do, I have to pay them the payment. Right? Plus I have to be parallelly innovative. So it is a multitasking job. And definitely when you are doing a multitasking, you are not only creating your own salary, you are creating the wealth for yourself and the wealth for the public society. If maybe 20 people I am employing, indirectly the company 20 to 4 people. If you assume 4 people are there in the family, then 80 people will depend on one person. That one person entrepreneur will take all the risk for that 80 people. Right? Now also that is very much important from an ethics point of view, that you say COVID is there, all this, and how you see to that you will motivate your employees. That is also very much important. Right? Any other questions, please? Thank you very much. Next one.
Under 35. So you can imagine what potential India has got for startups. And sir also mentioned many things. Okay, so he mainly focused on MSMEs, not to start very big industries. Okay, so and various parameters he covered, and he said how the rules are simplified. Within 48 hours, you can get permission for your startup, and within 90 days also you can close it. And how to raise the fund and how to sustain in the market. So many aspects he covered. I think definitely these things enlightened you people to think on startups. Am I right? Yes. So with these things, I would like to thank today's resource person, Dr. Anil Shirahatti sir, on behalf of MCA department as well as Jain College of Engineering. Thank you very much, sir. I also thank Dr. Kiran and our Praveen sir for arranging this workshop. Okay, thank you very much. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all of you for precious presentation, precious presence in this occasion, and I thank one and all here present. Thank you.